I like the white around you, and then it gets kind of like darker.
Isn't that
It's
cool?
like it's a vignette, I guess you'd call it.
A vignette.
A vignette.
A vignette.
And did Lewis, the scientist Lewis, inspire you to probably combine like the vest with more clothing pieces?
Yeah, I think so.
Pieces of clothing.
The only problem is that my eyes are looking straight down, but it is what it is. I'll just look farther up.
Actually, just don't look at me the whole time. You just look up at like something, an object
So,
above me. Yeah,
what's new in the news today?
Look above your camera.
Yeah.
yeah, like that.
Today's top 40. It's going great.
It looks like you're looking at a teleprompter the whole time that's placed way too high.
I'm doing very well today on the Town Crier podcast. What about how are you doing, Cameron?
Yo, good to have you here on the podcast, Josh. I'm doing well.
I'm glad that you're well. That your wellness makes me well.
Oh, okay. You remind me kind of an old man in the White House.
Oh man.
I had a little video to start it out with, though.
Oh, do you?
All respect to Tommy, he won, and don't judge me by my wins, judge me by my losses. I'll come back. I think we deserve that rematch. It was a great fight, a close fight. I don't know if I agree with the judges. I got a 10-8 round twice, so it is what it is. But this is the boxing. And look, I've already won in life, man. Amazing family, amazing friends, amazing work ethic. I've made it farther than I ever thought that I would, and beyond. So this is definitely a humbling experience. I'll take it on the chin, get back in the gym, and we can run it back because I think we put on an amazing show for the fans tonight.
Let's talk a little bit about technical boxing. You got 2 knockdowns. You stuck behind the jab. You were in there for every minute of every round. How much of your training and strategy was successful tonight?
Honestly, I felt flat. I got sick really bad twice in this camp. And so, but I lost. I'm not making excuses. I'm just saying it wasn't my best performance. I felt a little flat. And like I said, we're going to come back and get that W. Don't judge me by my wins. Judge me by my losses. I'm going to come back stronger.
In the great tradition of boxing, what makes a real fighter is someone who not only comes up off the canvas, but comes back after a loss, comes back better, comes back stronger, faces that opponent and defeats that opponent. You have a rematch clause. Are you ready to be a real boxer? Call that rematch out and do this one more time.
100%. Let's run it back.
And
thank you to the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, the Ministry of Sport, Prince Khalid. Inshallah, I'll come back and get this W. Shukran for having me. All love.
So there you go. Yeah.
Yeah, I got sick twice. They just go, boo.
He got booed twice. What did he say at the beginning that he got booed for?
He said, I'm not sure I agree with the judge's decisions.
Oh,
I had a 10-8 round. Boo. But it was a great show. It was a great show.
No, but it was it was fair and everything. Yeah, I don't know if I agree with the overall, the results. So the judges determined. I don't know if I agree with that. It was fair and everything, but yeah, I don't know if I agree that I lost and all, but
Yeah.
Totally fair fight.
It was a great fight, great fair fight. I don't agree with it. I think the judges were oh frick, hang on.
Yeah. Anyway, I just watched that a little bit ago. Figured I'd share it because I don't think you watched the fight. I didn't either, which is kind of a first for Jake Paul. I think I've seen every single one of his fights live up until this point. I think there's been 3 up until now, and I watched those. But this one, just couldn't get the illegal stream going. So
yeah, that's right.
I had to call it quits
We've
this
watched
time.
a handful of those fights on a FaceTime call.
Mm-hmm. We were basically doing the podcast before.
Just
fights.
during the Jake Paul fight.
Yeah, exactly.
They could have had us commentate the fight.
They should have.
Yeah.
Would have done a better job than Joe Rogan. No, I don't even know who it was. Not Joe Rogan. But, yeah, he did do another interview after that, which I did see a clip from the post-fight interview. More so, I guess it was the press conference interview. And he repeats the same line like he does in that segment you just saw.
Yeah.
I count my losses, and it's or whatever. Remember me by my losses, which
Yeah.
I don't know if you remember another famous person saying that line many times throughout their lifetime, throughout their career. But Jordan
Barack
Belfort,
Obama.
if you remember, I don't know. Jordan Belfort. I always say, don't count me by my wins, but count me by my losses
my
because there are
losses.
so few.
Yeah, me
Or what-
and Jordan go way back, actually.
Oh yeah, that's true. You do.
Yeah,
We
he's
know.
the reason I was unemployed for a while. So
Yeah. So that's actually facts.
yeah,
Yeah. Do you want to tell our audience about that a little bit?
yeah, we can give the story. Yeah, so I worked right before. This would have been in January. I took a job with a startup. January of last year, January of 22. Took a job with a startup, and it was an esports startup. So big nerd, but esports startup. We were building a platform for gamers to go and hang out and game and place bets, interact with the community, all kinds of stuff. And so one of our investors was referred to us by Jordan Belfort, and we had $5 million, so we were good for we're supposed to be good for the first year. And on a random weekday, me and all my other coworkers got laid off, or not laid off. We got furloughed on a random weekday. Company, I guess the lead investor pulled out. We're supposed to have a funding round come through. He pulled out. We all got furloughed. And so we start digging into it, trying to figure out what's going on. And turns out he was arrested for securities fraud. He was leading $100 million
Are you talking
stock.
about Jordan or the investor?
No, the investor. He was leading $100 million stock pump and dump ring with all these other investors. So he got arrested. Our funding didn't come through. We all got furloughed, eventually laid off. And he and Jordan knew each other well. That's how we got connected. That's how he connected us to Jordan, or that's how Jordan connected us to him. I'm not sure which one it was. And we were supposed to do this big tournament with Jordan in the summer of 22, and this was a month out. And so all this stuff happened a month before this big tournament was supposed to happen.
What kind of tournament was it?
We were playing Valorant. So we were hosting this big Valorant tournament. It's
Is that a video game?
FPS just another FPS game, pretty much. It's kind of like
FPS?
Fortnite, first person shooter.
Oh, okay.
It's kind of like Fortnite, kind of like Call of Duty. It's yet just another game, but we're supposed to do that. Supposed to be in Miami for the finals. We were all going to fly down. Finals were going to be at Jordan's, or I guess the winners were going to be at Jordan's house, go on his boat, all this stuff.
Are all these
And so-
participants only people within your company at the time?
No, these were college students.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
primarily
So were you
college
in the
students.
tournament, or you were just going to
No,
be there?
we were the ones that were hosting it. We built the platform
okay.
for people to play. And so we were all just going to be there to be part of the tournament and stuff. And then, yeah, that didn't happen. So we all got furloughed, laid off. That's when I joined Courier, courier.com for all your notification needs. And here we are. So,
That's right.
Jordan,
Wow.
great guy.
Yeah, you think his investor kind of not, or having all these sketchy business deals going on in the background, do you think that has to do probably with his influence from Jordan? Or do you think that's just completely on him?
No idea.
Because
Not sure
makes
I'm
you
legally
think.
allowed to comment. So.
Yeah, I know. It's pretty. Kind of makes you think. Is Jordan a changed man, or is he still
That's
kind
right.
of
That's right.
having puppets do his dirty work now?
Yeah, he's
I
got
don't
some
know.
sketchy ties. He's like the cartel guy in prison that's directing.
Yeah.
Oh, we'll tie this back to film. You ever see Law Abiding Citizen?
Actually, no.
No way.
I know.
All right. Well, I will.
got
So
me
the
there.
premise of it, it's Gerard Butler. His family gets killed. So I'll give you the brief synopsis. Family gets killed. And then he basically gets retaliation against the people that killed his family. So he goes and retaliates, kills the guys that killed his family. He gets put in prison, and then all of these things keep happening. All these like events keep happening related to like his family's killing and people that were involved, and people think he's behind it, but he's in jail the whole time. So all this stuff keeps happening and no one knows like how is he involved? How is he like orchestrating this stuff? He's in prison, but seemingly he's like still things are happening that are all related to it.
Okay.
So it's like this big thriller, super good. Jamie Foxx is in it. It's Jamie Foxx and Gerard Butler. And yeah, it's like really highly rated. I'm surprised you've not seen it. I've seen it.
I am surprised too because I know of it, obviously. Oh.
Yeah.
Actually, I just looked it up. Actually, yeah, 2009.
Yeah. What's the rating?
Actually, it got a 34 on Metascore in the red zone. But I know you're surprised because actually it makes sense. The user score is 7.4, which is pretty high.
Yeah. I would expect
That's
it to be higher, to be honest.
I would, from what I've heard about it, I would too.
Yeah. Yeah.
Also,
But-
this might have been, I guess, the first time that Gerard Butler and Jamie Foxx did a work together because they then did, I think it was at White House Down or one of those movies.
Oh, yeah,
Both of
yeah.
them. Oh, Olympus Has Fallen.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that was the second. Yeah, I remember they were in that. I think I saw that one. That was just like a classic action movie.
Yeah.
Morgan Freeman's in it too. Oh wait, that wasn't Jamie Foxx. Yeah, I think I just got Morgan Freeman and Jamie Foxx mixed up. I apologize. Take that as you will.
Yeah, Town Cry podcast getting canceled immediately.
But law-abiding citizen. Wow.
Yeah, give it a listen.
Give it a listen.
Give it a watch. Give it a look.
I'm just gonna turn the movie on.
We're just gonna look at it.
Yeah, or just put it on. Yeah, exactly. I'll just have it play on the TV, and I'll go do something else visually while I just listen to it.
Yeah, it's like a podcast but movie style.
Oh, okay. Yeah, kind of like some people do with the Town Crier podcast.
That's right. That's right. Some people don't
like-
turn the video on, and if that's one of you watching out there, shame on you.
Or I've just kind of met that group of girls, Alex and all of them.
Yep.
Yeah. Right. By the way, I heard when I left tonight to come record, J.M. Francis's girlfriend was in the room, and I was like, all right, I'm going. And she's like, oh, funny enough, my brother-in-law listens to all of your episodes.
No way.
Yeah. Her brother-in-law, of all people, I've never met this guy.
Heck yeah.
But which means he's probably listening right now.
That's
Which
right.
means, shout out. I don't even know your name.
Shout out the brother-in-law. Yeah, whoever you are.
Yeah, but definitely. I'm glad you can enjoy this. It sounded like it's something he listens to like on his Saturdays when he's kind of just working or doing some kind of miscellaneous task. That's what it sounded like. I don't know, but it's great. There's a lot of podcasts out there to listen to, and it means something to us that you're listening to two guys who you don't know, but.
Yeah, shout out Lauren
reason.
too. She's probably watching. So
yeah, you think so?
yeah, she said I don't have a podcast that comes out on Fridays, so now I have one, and I'm like,
Oh, really? Is that what she said?
typically Friday. Yeah, it's like
Do people
hopefully
have
Fridays.
a podcast? Like, does she have a podcast that covers her every single day of the week, like different ones?
Apparently, didn't know that was a thing, but like okay.
I wonder how other people. Like, yeah, I kind of do wonder how people. What's their regiment when it comes to listening to podcasts? Like, for me, it used to be every single day, every time I get in the car, and then but now it's maybe once every 1 or 2 weeks I might turn on a podcast.
Yeah.
But not that.
Yeah, mine's like random. It's like I'll be driving for 45 minutes to an hour, and I'll throw a pod on, and
Right. If I have my longer drives, I'll almost guaranteed to put on a podcast.
yeah,
So yeah.
cool.
But yeah, just kind of a random, pretty sick, kind of chill,
Pretty sick.
pumping the pod. Oh, yeah, I kind of missed this back there with Jake Paul. Did you? What? I don't know if you probably haven't been following anything going on there, have you?
A little bit, but not a ton.
I actually did want to say I thought he responded really well to this whole experience, losing. This is his first loss, and people have been dogging him up until his entire boxing career practically. People have kind of been like really wanting him to lose, but I think as he continued to win throughout that process, I think he kind of swayed some people who just were big haters to probably giving. He gained a lot of respect throughout that, but now now that he has lost, I think he's responding well instead of, as you might expect, the Jake Paul from a few years ago to respond, which probably would have been just a bunch of BS. He actually, I thought, took it on the nose well.
Yeah, I think people also forget that these boxing matches are just a huge money grab for both of them.
It's theatrical, too.
It is. It's at the end of the day, they're doing just an event. They're all entertainers. Him and Tommy both. They're big social media guys. And so whenever people talk about it, it's like you look leading up to the fight, they like hate each other, and then they finish the fight and they're like, "Oh, mad respect. That was solid. We should do a rematch."
It almost makes you think. Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, it's just like that's all it is. It's a big event, you know. It's like who can put on the best event, and these two guys like Logan and KSI did it, where they garnished a ton of hype, and it's like these two big YouTube guys, and then they fought twice, and now they like own a company together. You know, it's like
yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
and yeah, it almost makes you think. Would you appreciate it? Almost makes me think. Would I appreciate it more if the loser actually was just like infuriated and just kind of didn't respond too calm? Because I feel like for Jake, he's in it. He's in it as like not only of the boxer, but also a lot of it, he's doing the business side of things as well. So for him, it's like, you know, the fight is just the smallest part of this whole process. A lot of this is just building up the fight, what goes into all of that, creating the drama there, and then, you know, after the fight, what takes place and a lot of the talk that goes on there. To him, that's what I think a lot of this is. It's just a part of the experience for him is obviously the training camp and a lot of the promotion that goes into that. Yeah. And so the fight is just like, okay, yeah, I lost, but like, look what we did accomplished here. You know, I think
exactly.
His mind probably goes straight to, but look how much, you know, look at how much the bag we got though from all of this.
Yeah, how much the bag we got though.
I cannot put that into words correctly.
Yeah, I think they'll probably run it back. They even said it in that video. They're like, there's a clause in this for a rematch, and so there's already stuff in there for them to do like a 2-part fight. So,
right.
Yeah.
Run it back.
Run it back.
Yeah. Or maybe, I don't know, maybe when it comes to boxing, I think sometimes we should just, I guess fighters do just kind of say, no, we're not running it back. That's it. We're done.
Yeah, sometimes I just think, though, that violence might not be the answer. So
Yeah. Sometimes I think that the video games violence is really causing society to take a now.
Call of Duty and Fortnite.
Yeah.
I think are
especially Fortnite.
Yeah, especially Fortnite. It's very violent, very graphically violent, like Fortnite is.
Yeah. So maybe we can put an end to that one day, but we'll get to that later.
Yeah.
So the new Pooh movie dropped recently.
New what?
I think this was Pooh, Winnie the Pooh. You know, Christopher Robin and all them.
I'll have to take a poo.
Anyway, that is dropped recently, I think like a week ago. But if this is a horror spin on Winnie the Pooh.
Oh, I did see this.
So yeah, I remember they started filming this. I think I saw that like a year ago, and I was like, all right, this will be interesting. But if you don't know what happened, about 2 years ago, Winnie the Pooh, that whole series, hit the public domain. I think it's after once the artist passes away, the creator. I think gives 70 years after that until their work becomes public domain, so anybody can use it for their own art, their own media content. And so that happened. So this group got together and created this horror spin on Winnie the Pooh. So Winnie the Pooh is just a serial killer, an axe murderer, I believe. It's just a slasher thriller horror movie, and it did really bad. I think it did really, really bad. You can look it up if you want. But anyway, yeah. From what I can understand, it just looks like it doesn't look like it's worth going to see. It looks like it's just somebody saw that Pooh was now public domain and wanted to make something horrific out of that. And kind of, from what I heard, there's not a whole lot. It's not like a good storyline at all. It's just kind of whatever. So, but I thought that was. Yeah, so I wanted to bring that up. I don't know if there's much to say there, but
yeah, that is a really bizarre. I think everybody saw the trailer for that, and was like, okay, so this children's like beloved character is now going to be like a serial killer. Like, all right.
Yeah,
I don't know.
But it's like okay, it's. I mean, I kind of said this before with other films, but it's like okay, but it's not. Obviously, it's not Pooh though. Like, it's even if you see what they created for like the axe murderer Pooh, it's just a person with a mask on. So like,
Yeah.
and I can't tell if like it's actually supposed to be a bear and they just did a really bad job, or
It's
or
a
not-
real
maybe not
life bear.
yeah, or not like a real bear, but like the doll, the Pooh that we see in the cartoon. Like, were they trying to make it look like that, or were they just saying, no, this is a crazy person who put on a mask to look like Pooh?
Yeah.
I don't know. Whatever. I don't know what they're trying to do there, but this is what I'll say, and this is what brings me into our next segment here that has to do with the new Mario movie, actually. But
Oh, yeah.
so maybe I'll just go there first and skip over what I was going to say about Pooh. But yeah, the new Mario movie is coming out. I think it drops pretty soon, featuring an all-star cast. I think they got the voice actors doing this are like A-list. Chris Pratt,
Yeah.
playing Mario, and yeah. So first of all, I don't know if you are interested in seeing that at all yourself. Are you?
Probably not.
Yeah, me either.
I'll wait for Oppenheimer. So
There you go. But it's made by Illuminati. No, not the Illuminati.
yeah, Illuminati.
It's made by Illuminate Studios, I think, and they're the same ones that created the Minions and Despicable Me. So my brother, I think I remember when we saw the trailer for Mario, he said, he's like, yeah, this just looks like Minions, but in Mario characters, basically.
Yeah.
Like the same kind of just vibe. And I'm not hating on Minions, by the way. I did watch the latest Minions. It's a solid animated movie. So no hate to them. That's just what it looks like. So it just looks like another money grab, honestly. But the biggest problem with doing adaptations or reboots like this is that I kind of compare it to The Lion King. So when they did the live action Lion King, I think it was in like 2019. It suffered. It did not do well, and it's because you take these loved characters from the 1999 or whatever Lion King, whenever it was, the classic original, and you take, it's a cartoon. So when you take that and you try to make it real, you run into all of these it's not like it just goes from cartoon and now real life. Okay, great. Now everybody will love it. You face a lot of problems transitioning to that because a lot of the characters are cartoon characters, and so like they're smiling, their emotions, the way they talk. It's different because it's written for a cartoon. So how do you make a real life lion look happy, or look sad? Or you can't just give them a giant smile like you would on a cartoon character. Then it's not realistic whatsoever. So they run into that problem, which just causes so many issues because you have a hard time relating with the characters because they are animals and they're supposed to look like real animals this time instead of like a human-looking lion like in a cartoon, So it's just like that was their biggest problem, I think. And so I think the same thing is just my guess, is with Mario, it's going to be the same thing. It's like, but also it's going to be even harder for Mario because it's like these characters we learned from the video games, Super Mario Brothers, Mario Party, Mario Kart, all these classics, and the dialogue there is minimal. Most of the storytelling is told through just I don't even know how actions, and facial expressions, and they don't actually use much dialogue. So those are the characters we know and love with Mario. So then when we walk into a movie like this, which is now Chris Pratt's playing Mario, and all these actors and then like Toad has a lot of dialogue, looked like. I just know if I go into this movie, I'm immediately just gonna hate whoever these characters are that they've created. You're not gonna like them more than likely if you grew up with Mario and you're actually a Mario fan. Which if you're not a Mario fan, I don't know why you'd be going to see this movie anyway. So I just think people are gonna be really disappointed with this movie, is what I'm saying.
Yeah. If you rip on Minions though, back to your Minion comment, Jake Paul's gonna make a video about you, dude.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
I can't believe someone could have this much hatred in their heart. Yeah.
To hate the Minions?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, they're minions. Like,
yeah. That's a good call, actually. I should have thought about that before saying
Yeah.
and talking shade about Minions, which I didn't,
Yeah.
for the record. But
yeah. Yeah, these all these movies that they're bringing, all these, it's either video games. There's the big trend right now of bringing video games into film. I think we talked about this. Maybe
we did
not,
a few
but
episodes ago, a little bit, yeah, with Last of Us.
Last of Us and Assassin's Creed. At one point, they tried to make a film out of. I think. I don't know if it ever actually
maybe.
came out.
I think I did hear something about that.
But yeah, there's that, and then there's one other big game that they tried to make an adaptation for in film, but it's becoming a trend. The cartoon ones, I don't understand that. It's like, I also don't know why the creators of Mario would ever even Nintendo, but I don't know why the creators would ever agree to that. Where it's like, there's no way this is going to do well.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Maybe they saw the contract amount and they're like, all right, go for it. We don't care.
Well, exactly. That's the only thing I can think of why they would go forward with this. Like, we haven't seen a Mario. Has there ever been a Mario adaptation movie?
I don't think so.
I don't think there has. It's like, why now?
There shouldn't be.
Shouldn't be. Nintendo's existed for like 30 years plus, maybe. It's like, now we're making a movie. They should. Yeah. It's obviously not made by Nintendo, but they obviously sold their rights for this, for something. So I don't know. We'll see what happens. I personally will not be seeing it, though. Sorry. But, hey, I'm not saying don't go see it. Go enjoy that movie if you can, everybody.
Yeah, take your kids, do whatever, and be really disappointed that you wasted like $40 on a movie or whatever.
Yeah.
I heard from the grapevine, from an avid listener, Bradley Prentice, that Bradley Cooper took a year off of acting to learn guitar and sing. You know if there's any validity to that?
I don't actually think. Where did you see this, or did he just tell you that?
He just told me. He might have just made it up to make us look foolish on the town crier.
Wait, we'll try to find something on that. I maybe did hear that for a recent movie he was in. For his role as Jackson Maine in A Star Is Born, Bradley Cooper learned to play guitar. Yeah, I think I knew that.
Did he take a year off?
Oh, I don't know.
Cool.
Oh,
all right.
He took. Well, let's see. He did maybe. He has mentioned that he took lessons for 6 months. So.
All right. Well, that's not impressive.
Yeah. No.
All right. Anyways, terrible advice from one of our viewers.
It's also this is like from 2017. So.
Yeah, we're just never going to talk about that again.
Yeah. Thanks, Bard.
Yeah. Thanks, Bard.
That where does he live? Like a distant galaxy that this stuff just gets to him a little late.
Yeah, he's using Internet Explorer.
yeah. If the page that he was trying to load in 2018 finally loaded.
Yeah.
Thanks, Bart.
Have you seen all those memes where it's like Chrome and Firefox and Safari all talking about something, and it's like this will be like in the summer. This will post, and then Internet Explorer is like in the corner, and it's like Happy New Year. It's like 6 months late.
Nice.
Yeah.
Classic. Yeah, I'm still on Chrome.
Yeah. I'm on the Brave train now.
I did put in our notes for we could do a segment for like favorite music or favorite song of the week or something.
All right.
Which I definitely do have one.
Same.
Why My Love by Fly By Midnight. It's so good. Like
everything they do is good. We're big Fly By Midnight fans. Yeah.
Like I just didn't expect it. I don't know.
Yep.
I got to that. You get to that part of the song, and it's like that choir comes in there doing like a call and response, or whatever. It's so freaking good. I don't know.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. So mine for the week is Throwback Tears. Throwback Tears by Valley. So that came out. I don't know if it came out. I think it came out recently. It wasn't on the week or anything, but super good. They've released 2 songs off their new album. Their new album comes out in the summer.
Is the other one Champagne?
No, the other one is like Good something. Good.
Okay.
Yeah,
Throwback Tears is pretty fire. I remember heard that a few weeks ago.
Yeah. Dude, this is a pretty jazzed up good year for albums. We've got on the country music space, which you're a big fan of country, sentimental country especially. We've got Morgan Wallen's album at the time of filming is coming out tonight, which is going to be crazy.
Oh, really?
36 songs comes out tonight. That's going to be huge. Chase Rice had an album come out 2 weeks ago. Jordan Davis had an album come out 2 weeks ago. Jordan Davis. So country music is popping, and then they're all gearing up for tour and stuff. Tour season in the summer. Obviously, it's country music. It's got to be hot. So
That's right. Oh yeah. Okay. I mean, so Morgan Wallen's album drops tonight.
yeah, I'm gonna listen to most of it. Comes out in 2.5 hours.
Brad texted me just now. Yo, what's up? He.
Hey, thanks for the bad tip. Thanks for the horrible podcast tip. Yeah, Bard was just out here.
Oh, that's right. Oh,
Yeah.
I almost forgot about that.
Yeah, got a little.
That's when he told you about Bradley Cooper.
Yeah. While we were just hanging out, he decided to drop some knowledge, which was terrible knowledge, apparently.
So how was the ski trip though?
It was great. Yeah. So ski Copper for 2 days.
What's Copper?
Dew tour was going on, so we had free Mountain Dew, which haven't had a Mountain Dew since like 7th grade. So, and still didn't drink one there, but yeah, it was good.
They do.
Yeah, do the Dew. Yeah, they had like a rail jam going on. They had this DJ. Speaking of music, they had this DJ. His name is Mixmaster Mike, and it was like a night event. So they had this whole like rail jam set up. It's like right in the base of the village. It's like kind of hype. And they're like, DJ's coming on. It's going to be sick. And this DJ comes on and quite literally was like the worst DJ I've ever heard in my life. It was like he had like obviously his like turntables and like his MIDI controller and everything. And he would play literally 10 seconds of a song. A song would come on. It'd be like super hype. And he'd start freaking scratching and just like ruins the whole, like would ruin the entire song. And then he'd just switch to another song. And then at one point he was like spinning and like turning shiz and spinning around and doing it behind his back. And it was like the worst sound I've ever heard. And I'm like, what is going on? At first I'm like, is this just me or does this guy suck at this? And we just kept going and nope, it just kept getting worse. And like he would play like really hype songs. Like at one point he put Mr. Brightside on and I'm like, give it 10 seconds. Right. This is going away. And all of a sudden, and then it's like switches to another song. And I'm like, okay, this guy sucks. Yeah, so we
Did he like just play the intro, like the guitar riff?
No, he would play like the main part of the song for like quite literally 10 seconds. And then he would throw some trash in there with his like, yeah. Yeah,
you should have recorded this at least.
I honestly should have. I should have just recorded like a full 5 minutes, just been like, what is going on? But
dang.
Yeah. And then he'd get up on the mic and the gain was turned up super hard. So it was like one of those really like terrible sounding mics. And so he'd be playing some absolute trash. And then he'd get up on the mic and go, "Dude, what is going on?" And then it's just like no one doing anything. So
that actually sounded like realistic because when you actually did that.
Yeah.
I don't know if...
What's going on, everybody? Yeah, it was like that. It's like it just super like choppy and yeah. But anyways, the whole thing was fun in general. Good weekend. Good hanging out.
Yeah.
So yeah.
That reminds me of this video. Actually, I should just pull it up. Well, it's like it says something like DJs always have like the most random like build dialogue.
Oh yeah.
I want to find the Bill Nye one.
Yeah, I was gonna say find that.
Bill Nye the Science Guy.
Kind of goes hard. They should put the Chinese version in there.
My favorite part is towards the
science
end.
Guy.
He's just hitting the button.
Beer.
Bill.
Yeah.
Bill Nye.
Yeah. Do you think maybe girls gravitate towards astrology because the characteristics and traits that astrology presents for each star sign causes one to accept negative characteristics as simply a part of...
Keep going.
I started losing track here.
Try again.
A part of someone who is that can't be changed rather than seeing it as a flaw and a place to grow. For example, a Leo loves attention and obsessed with self-image, constantly spending too much time on clothes and makeup. From what I've personally observed, girls describe this star sign and they're unapologetic and actually quite proud of the flaw that is, with absolutely no desire to change. They don't see it as a flaw, though they should.
That is like, I feel like that's right up my alley. Like, I feel like that just what makes. Yeah, I feel like that's like an exact thought I've had before.
Yeah, it might be actually. Yeah.
Wow, funny you brought that up.
Yeah.
Actually at the beginning of that, I was like, "Whoa, yeah." Like,
Yo.
Yeah. I kind of this came to me when I had this experience with someone who I will not be named, but they were saying how they're a Leo and they were reading to me what a Leo entails, and it was like it started out with roll out the red carpet, and this person is all about like self-image, and they're always buying way too many clothes and this and that. And I'm like, these are all bad things. But the person who was explaining it to me was very proud of it, and this is what I mean when it comes to astrology. Like the descriptions for these star signs or whatever is it puts it it explains it in a like it's not, maybe it's not taken, it's okay, maybe it's given an unbiased description, but I just think a lot of it, maybe the way people read into it is these are all, instead of looking at it like this is a problem, I shouldn't keep spending this ridiculous amount of money, I'm so obsessed with myself and I should probably think about others. It's like that's just how I am, that's just how I'm wired. That's just how I am. I'm not going to apologize for the way I'm wired and the way my personality plays out. That's just the way I am. And it's like, no, those are problems. Everybody has problems in their own life that they should work on fixing. You should always be bettering yourself in life, not just being like, that's who I am. Accept it. Yeah. Actually, it doesn't have to be who you are. I don't know. That's
where that's where the culture of like I'm the victim kind of thing.
Yep.
That's where it plays into. It's like no self-responsibility for things. It's like, oh yeah, that's actually a flaw and I got to fix that. It's like, no, it's because I'm a freaking Taurus or whatever, Cancer.
Yeah.
And it's just how I'm wired. And it's like, maybe, but you could change that. And
exactly. Yeah.
You can
all the conversation around astrology is, I just always see it. I don't think I'm not saying this never happens. I'm sure it does. When I've seen the people talk about it who were subscribed to it, it's just always kind of a very kind of lighthearted in a way, the way they describe their personality traits of their star sign. And so even when they go through like the negative ones, they kind of just say like, whatever, this and that, it's just me. That's just how, it's so accurate. Ha 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 ha. And these are like some of the most egregious traits you could have. And it's like, that's,
really, I just
just
cheated on my boyfriend, but it's just like what Leos do.
Yeah.
It's like,
exactly.
What?
That's an extreme, obviously, but exactly. That's the kind of thinking that I think this whole space has. And it's I think it's a reflection on society, though. Yeah, I think there's a reason astrology it's been around for forever, but there's a reason it went all mainstream. I think the last 3-4 years, whatever it's been, it's a reflection of society and victimhood. Wow, we could actually roll into this, get pretty deep.
I was gonna say, I don't know how much deeper we're gonna go there.
I don't even know that I will include this, but I kind of do.
I was gonna say, there's a lot there. We can keep going.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Oh, so last episode we talked a little bit about signs of Interstellar. So I know you haven't started yet, which is fine, but I'm now halfway through this book, and the fact I'm only halfway and feel like I've learned so much as I have, it's just kind of crazy. I'm like, what else is he gonna explain? I don't know. I've already learned like the entirety of Gargantua and the black holes and wormholes and how they work, but there's still a lot more to be said there. So I don't know. It's crazy though. Yeah, I was watching Interstellar last night. I didn't finish it obviously, but dude, freaking crazy. Like
So good.
Seeing the also now that I know the process that they went through to create these visuals, like the black hole visual of Gargantua when you first see it in the film, now that I know what it took to create just that few seconds of imagery there, it's incredible. The amount of research that was done to make that black hole accurate is just crazy. The amount of mathematic equations that were done for that and simulations that they had to put these equations into, and the amount of experts they had to consult on this. I mean, it's crazy. Everything down to the way the light moves within that black hole. Like every star has been closely calculated so that when it moves it's seen in the appropriate imagery, how it would actually look in the movement in real life, real time. It's just mind-boggling to me how much they put into this to make it. It's not just some CGI. Like, in case anyone's wondering, because we've talked about Christopher Nolan doesn't really do CGI unless he has to. It's like, this isn't even just CGI where it's like, let's make a big black hole and make something that probably looks like a black hole. It's like, no, we're gonna make that, but also we're gonna make it literally look like it actually does out there in space.
They actually filmed next to a real black hole in space.
Really?
So yeah, it was crazy. They went right up next to it, and
that's so it wasn't CGI.
Yeah.
Oh, that was real. Oh,
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, kind of.
It's just like Martian. Martian was filmed on Mars. It was crazy. Like Matt Damon actually went to Mars.
What?
So yeah.
No, don't. You're joking, aren't you?
But the black hole thing, that is what's crazy. Once you understand the science behind how real the simulation in the movie is, simulation's a bad term, the depiction of it in the movie is, then when you see it, it's like they didn't just throw this big black object with a line through it and be like, this is the black hole. They spent years,
literally
years to figure out exactly how this would look, what the closest depiction of this would be, and then the CGI and the time they spent rendering that stuff was to make it look as physically real as possible.
Yeah. And by the way, so I have it right here. So this is and this
so sick.
So all of that light that you see, like the really cool light that basically is the majority of this picture, like all this white and everything. I mean, the black hole is the black. The white, though, the lighting is actually not the black hole. So I mean, which you maybe already knew, but when I first watched this movie in 2014, I had really no understanding of what a black hole was, what it looked like, really. Not that anybody really did, though, probably until this movie.
Yeah.
But yeah, he talks in a whole chapter about this disc. It's called a certain kind of disc. Oh yeah. There's an infinitesimally thin disc in Gargantua's equatorial plane, gravitationally lensed by Gargantua's warped space and time. So that lighting, all that light around the black hole is so I wish I could just remember the stuff on the top of my head. It's actually a disc that is produced by, I think, like dead stars or something, but it's a gas that the black hole is sucking into it. So it makes it look really pretty in the movie. But that whole light around it, that disc looking thing that goes like that. That's not a part of the black hole, and that's not necessarily, I don't think, always a part of black holes is that disc. But there's a very significant part that it plays. I think they just kind of included this disc that is still very common with black holes. They included it specifically in the movie so that you could actually see it, and actually there could be imagery on the screen. Otherwise, it would probably just be pretty boring to look at.
Yeah, it'd be a giant black circle.
Yeah. Dude, yeah, this chapter on Gargantua, though, it's just filled with so many cool
That's crazy.
parts.
It makes me want to go rewatch it. I probably should in the next
Well, you should read
the
the book. You should read the book first, is what you should do.
Oh yeah, sure.
Because then you can really watch it from a new perspective. It's crazy. And then also to think about how they had to go about this from the camera's point of view is literally every single angle of the black hole that a camera does, or any movement the camera does, has to be closely calculated. Like the measurements, that has to be put into the equation to represent what is being seen by the camera accurately. So like even just figuring out where to put the camera and how that affects the equations for the black hole and everything, it's a massive mathematical equation.
What's wild is, the people who worked on that, like, for them to see that once the renderings completed and everything was probably just like an unreal experience for them.
Well, it's not even, it's an unreal experience as a filmmaker, but even for scientists. I remember Kip Thorne writes how when he first saw the imagery that the effects department put together for this, Double Negative is the name of the company, and when they put this together finally after all of this work, he was like, dude, he's like, this is the most, he said, not only is this the most accurate imagery I've ever seen of a black hole, but this is the most realistic. This is the best image I've ever seen produced of a black hole in all of science history. So, even filmmakers can appreciate it, but even like scientists can look at that and be like, oh my gosh, like, that's legit. Like the amount of money that shot must have cost, that just one shot of Gargantua is, I can't even imagine how much was put into just a few seconds of accuracy.
It's the shot when they fly by it, and like when the ship's right up next to it. And it's just like a crazy scene. But you're right. It's like years and years went into just getting that right. So
crazy. They started, actually the idea for Interstellar began in 2005, I think it was.
Jeez.
And it was obvious. I mean, and it wasn't originally Christopher Nolan's idea. It was actually Kip Thorne was really kind of the one who started this whole thing. Him and his friend, actually, this woman who also a scientist in his field, they always had this dream of creating a blockbuster movie that was also accurate to science. Most science fiction movies that we see, they're not very accurate to true science, and so they really wanted to create something that was going to be true to science. And so they had that idea to create something like that in like 2005, I think it was, and then they were able to get in the door with, I think, Steven Spielberg, who was interested in producing the film with them. There was no storyline yet or screenplay written at this point, just ideas floating around, concepts that they wanted to work off of, like time relativity and all of this. And then Steven Spielberg hopped on, and then I think around 2009, actually ended up there was a disagreement between two studios, so they ended up not working out. And then I think then Jonathan Nolan came on board. By the way, I've learned Jonathan Nolan actually goes by Jonah. Jonah came into the picture and started actually writing the screenplay with them, with Kip Thorne. And then he, in 2010 to 2012 kind of era, he had to bounce. He's like, hey, I got to step away because he had to go create The Dark Knight Rises. So
heck yeah,
kind of crazy to just think, being Kip Thorne, working there, and it'd be like, oh, you got to go. Oh, you have to go take a break because you got to go produce another like crazy hit film. Okay,
you got to create like one of the best superhero films ever,
movies of all time. Like that was following The Dark Knight. I mean, so they already knew like this is one of the greatest movies ever. He's one of the most talented in the industry. But just casually going to go finish up The Dark Knight Rises, then I'll be back. Well, they didn't know if he was going to come back for sure, so they actually had to wait 2 or 3 years. In what he actually says in the book, Kip Thorne's like, we waited 2 or 3 years in limbo. And I was like, that's funny.
Heck yeah.
I guarantee you, he actually wasn't even trying to be funny there. It's just legit. But he's like, we waited in limbo because we didn't know where Jonathan Nolan, if he would be even coming back. So we were just kind of hoping, living on like hoping, having our fingers crossed this would work out. And then, so eventually, as you would imagine, Jonathan Nolan, not only does he come back, but he comes back with Christopher Nolan. And then Christopher Nolan jumps in the picture, and so usually how the writing process goes for the Nolans is Jonathan actually usually starts the story, or gets something at least in the works. Then Christopher Nolan comes in and then adds his take to it, or then kind of just finishes out the writing process from there, putting his classic spin on things. So
crazy. Two of like the greatest film minds ever.
It's unfair.
It's crazy. Same with like Inception and stuff too. Just the amount of that's probably one, that and Tenet, but those are separate. We can talk about that in future ones. But
oh, you mean we can talk about Tenet on this podcast?
Yeah.
Yeah. And even I watched this video essay on Tenet the other night, and the guy makes the point, which I thought was really well said. What his main point with Tenet was, he's like, look, there's a lot of movies that are made for where there's different expectations for the audience. Like with some movies, like with Tenet, he was just basically saying this movie was intended to be a puzzle that would be something like the audience would work through, kind of like Nolan's expectation was for you not just to go see it once and that's it, but was to actually study the film like a puzzle and try to work on figuring it out. And he made the point, he's like, look, Tenet's not like Inception or Interstellar where there is kind of still an deep emotional aspect to it. He's like, sure, that's there, but it's definitely not as deep. It's actually more so just to be a puzzle that you can just to try to figure out and try to work on solving, just to try to maybe understand it better. But it's not like, maybe he said there's not going to be that same, you can't have that same expectation you did for Interstellar or Inception. This is just a very different expectation for the audience. And so he's like, I've watched it, 6 times, whatever it might be, breaking it all down as best I can, trying to figure it all out. And anyway, I was like, yeah, that's right. That's what I've been kind of trying to say. It is basically just a puzzle. You kind of have to approach that way and not expect to just be one time, sit down, watch a movie, walk away with everything you'd expect to walk away from a movie with.
Yeah, and I think if you watch the dialogue from Tenet, like it's very cold. There's not a ton of emotion into it. It's very like black and white. There's not a lot there, and that plays to that. It's like they're not trying to develop this dialogue. Half of Interstellar is building up the relationship between him and his daughters and his son and his father and all that stuff. Maybe not half of it, but a huge part of it. And then obviously, what's her name? Anne Hathaway. I forget what her character's name is. Her and her struggles with Dr. Mann and all that stuff, and how that's influencing her opinions on where they should go. Like that's a huge part of it. Edmonds, right? Dr. Mann is not him. Dr. Edmonds.
Right. There's the love aspect to it. Yeah,
and then obviously Inception's even more so that where it's like him and his kids is like and his wife, and that's like the whole premise behind a lot of this stuff. So
and figuring out the premise of Tenet, is kind of tricky actually. What is the point of it?
It's true. Well, what are they doing?
Like this guy actually made the point that he thought this story actually was more about the relationship between John David Washington and Robert Pattinson's character, and because they've known each other the entire movie, or the entirety of their lives, they've actually known each other, but John David Washington doesn't realize it. So I forget what his claim was to that, but he's saying he thought that was more of the premise of the movie, was that relationship there.
And you don't realize that till the very, very end.
Yeah, exactly.
So, maybe that is the point, but...
Yeah, and that the whole scene with the battle scene, what is it called? The something pinnacle, or there was a word...
I don't know.
A term that was used. Okay, never mind. I'm not going to try to explain it then. So all I was saying, so if this book is crazy, it's the fact that I'm only about halfway is wild to me. But I learned all about wormholes yesterday. Freaking
heck yeah. I would love that same book concept. Obviously it's not a scientific realm, but
Inception?
Yes. Dude, I would eat that up. Like
if they
could somehow describe in detail like what went into them building out.
Yeah, I want to hear. Yeah, exactly what went into the writing of it all, but also if there is more science that can kind of be fleshed out and discussed to dreams, that would be cool to hear about. I don't know. I don't think they really consulted much. Maybe they did. I don't know how much science they did on Inception.
I think that's relatively scientifically accurate. Like I think the concept of and everyone's experienced this. You wake up at your alarm, you fall asleep for 15 minutes, and it feels like you're asleep for like an hour, where you get stuck in a dream or something. That happens to me frequently. My alarm will go off. I've got 15 minutes, and I feel like I dream for like an hour and a half.
Yep.
And so I don't know if there's a scientific piece that comes into play there, but that obviously like them talking about that in the film, as you go deeper layers, obviously it just gets exponential. I don't know if there's a science behind that, but I'd believe it. So
yeah. So maybe I don't know. They should do that. They should. Kip not Kip Thorne. The Nolans should write books about their movies if they have time.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, this is great.
In their spare time, where they're not building the next greatest film of all time.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they could be working on the one after Oppenheimer at this point. I don't know.
True.
But there is black and white in Oppenheimer, by the way. And I don't know if you ever saw the movie Memento. Did you ever see that? Oh, you did? Yeah, that was also black and white. They used black and white to tell the story. Is what I mean. So he's doing a little return to that in Oppenheimer. And I did a little bit of research on Oppenheimer in the new movie and what it might entail to kind of get a better idea. But so yeah, basically, from what it looks like, he's gonna really wrestle with the trying to make sense, I guess, kind of the experience that Oppenheimer had throughout this whole process with creating the atomic bomb that actually bombed Hiroshima, and one of a very obviously controversial historical event, and so it's probably I think that's probably the premise of the movie, is having to, because he not only was it the government funded what the work he was doing, the research that he did and everything, but then the government turned on him after the fact that they actually used the atomic bomb, the people, and kind of turned on him. And so I think that might be part of the premise, is him trying to work through all of this, and kind of make sense of trying to justify, maybe not try to justify, but try to see the morality, try to find morality in the work he was doing. Because that is a pretty crazy concept. Like, they had to be done. Like, they had to make this bomb to compete with their enemies, essentially, and not necessarily just to use it, but they at least had to have that technology be known that they had that. But so what he was doing was necessary, but then using it was where it's like, okay, I don't know.
It's like he made this big scientific advancement in building the bomb, and then for them to use it, and they killed, I think, 200,000 people or something like that. And
really? Was it that much?
I think total. Well, it was including the fallout, right? It was the initial bombing.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Then the nuclear fallout afterwards. I think between the two cities, they expect it to be like, I think they estimated it 200,000, something like that.
Wow.
And so it's like, you do this really big scientific achievement, which on paper is really cool, but then it's like, oh, this was just used to kill like mostly civilians, kind of a thing, So it'll be fascinating. I'm once again very fired up for the film, but
fired up.
Aha.
Kind of dark though.
It's gonna be an explosive film.
Oh. Dang, yeah. I do still, speculate how he might play into more of the concept of time with this. If he does, we'll see.
Yeah, but that would be fascinating.
But it was pretty crazy. I told you when I was reading The Science of Interstellar, Oppenheimer comes up in the study of black holes or something related,
something similar. Yeah.
So which has to do with nuclear, whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever the right word is. But yeah, nuclear energy, and because that's obviously a big part of a black hole, I believe. I don't want to quote myself here. I'm butchering so much.
The nuclear bomb gets sucked into the black hole, and then when it explodes, it makes the black hole bigger.
Let the record be said that as I do go through this book, I'm going to try to explain things, and I'm going to butcher it probably the majority of the time. But that's just the learning process. Is you have to,
that's right.
when you can teach something and explain it, then you can do it well, then you've really learned that material. So that's all I'm doing here, everybody. Pontificating.
That's right. Pontificate. Great word.
I think was that the right word there?
This man's a scholar.
Yeah, I think
I don't know. I don't know if that's the right use of it.
I think it is. We'll see. I'll check myself later.
Yeah. Have you ever listened to Amnesia by A-OK?
Yeah, I have.
Cool. Same.
Oh, there you go. Yeah. Have you ever heard? I'm trying to think of something actually I haven't heard, but that's actually pretty hard to do.
Yeah, right.
Have you ever heard 21 by Drake and 21 Savage?
No, definitely not.
Yeah, actually, me either.
Yeah, me either. Oh, cool. Yeah, Drake,
Whatever.
21, getting after it in the studio.
Yeah, you hear he's being called out for whose murder? XX Tentacion.
Drake is? Oh yeah,
Yeah,
there's a
did you
bunch
see
of conspiracy theories around it.
Yeah, the judge or one of the attorneys actually mentioned Drake in one of these hearings.
Are you
recently.
serious?
Yeah,
Whoa.
I haven't read much about it, but it's an actual thing.
Yeah, he's a terrible guy. So
Should we just not innocent till proven guilty? It's just
Yeah,
he's
yeah.
a bad dude.
he's guilty till proven innocent. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I believe that he did it as well.
Yeah, I know. I've just always thought, I've just never thought Drake was a good dude though to begin with, Like,
So it makes
that was
sense
the
that he'd
start.
kill someone. Yeah.
Yeah. He just, it all adds up to me. We
Yeah,
all kind of saw
yeah.
this coming, right?
Yeah. None of us are surprised.
So yeah, we should, the appropriate sentence should be carried out, and we should move forward with this.
Yeah, that's right.
Bring the family some peace after what Drake did.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, after he killed that young man.
Come on, Drake.
Come on, Drake.
Oh, come on, ref. So I play a lot of piano. For our audience who doesn't know, I'm very passionate about music in different ways. Anyway, so I play piano about every day of my life. And
Passion.
So
Passion.
that might have come out of the side of the speaker. I
Yeah,
don't know.
that was good. Now keep
Yeah,
going.
I'm just really, really passionate about music, and so this one of the bands that I really like is Fly By Midnight, like I said, and so I played. I recently they have a song called Lovely, and it's really good, and it's from 2018, it's one of their older ones. But I was recently just started playing it more on piano, or actually not more. I never really played it before at all. And so I started jamming out to that, played a little clip, put my phone up, recorded it, threw it up on my story, just to share what I've been kind of working on. It's far from perfect, but I was just kind of messing around. And so, yeah, Fly By Midnight, though, crazy enough, saw that. I did tag them, and they saw my story, and then they reposted their story. So just shout out to Fly By Midnight for being cool. That's awesome. Definitely appreciative of that. What I love about Fly By Midnight is they kind of use their vocals as an instrument, and I know our vocals are technically an instrument, but I mean they really use it as an instrument in their music. So if you listen to it, the vocals, instead of feeling like they're in the front of the mix, and I'm not saying they are not, because the vocals are almost always at the front of the mix, but it actually sounds, if you listen, it sounds like it's almost like so well mixed into the music, like it's almost like I don't even know how to say it. It's like you're listening to an instrumental track, because of how well their vocals are mixed in with the track. They almost sound like an instrument. Like when the way they harmonize their vocals, I mean, they really stack up the harmonies on their
I was gonna say
on a lot of what they do, and that's why it gives you the sound and feel that it does. But yeah, the way the effects that they put on their vocals, the way they record it, it just it's like it could be another instrument in the track, if that makes any sense. So
yeah, they blend
that's
it super well too, and like you
blend
said, they
is a good
stack them.
word, yeah.
They stack them super hard, but then they blend it in to where it flows with the rest of their sound, where it's not like I said, it's not in the front. It's not like they have music playing and then they jump out in front with vocals to just do something. So
it's kind of like the difference between a producer making a track and then bringing it to a singer to sing over it. It's like no, it's like this whole, from the start of their music, when they go into writing a song, it's like from the beginning they're already thinking vocals, instrumentation, kind of all in one, instead of two separate entities, basically.
A lot of indie artists do this. So there's examples of this. John Bellion does this really well. He does more like ad libs with a bunch of other sounds.
Facts.
Chelsea Cutler does this really well. Jeremy Zucker does this really well. So there's a lot of people who they use the vocal layers to give a lot more depth to their songs than just random instruments and just single tone vocals.
Yeah.
So shout out Fly By Midnight.
Artist of the week. We'll just say Fly By Midnight.
FBM. Well, thank you guys for listening once again to the Town Crier Podcast, episode 8?
7. It's the Lord's
Lucky number 7. That's right. It's the Lord's number. Episode 7. Thank you guys for listening, viewing, subscribing.
Yeah, and if you haven't subscribed yet and you're listening, go do so.
Yeah.
What are you waiting for?
Smash the like button and like and subscribe.
Yeah, that's right.
Like and subscribe to our channel.
Yeah, we should do the rest of this ASMR.
Yeah.
We'll see you guys next week on the Town Crier Podcast on episode 8.
Thank you for tuning in, everybody. Really appreciate everything you guys do for us, and so yeah, looking forward to you hearing.
It's like F-Boy ASMR. Thank you guys so much for liking and subscribing. So, thank you guys for vibing out with us on this podcast. We'll see you guys next week.
Really appreciate you guys vibing with us with our whimsical niche. For sure, be sure to tune back in, pull up.
Make sure y'all pull up next week. All right. Nice. It's good. That's good.
Cool. We'll see you
All right.
next
Well,
cut.
thank you guys for listening. We'll catch you guys next week.
Yeah, we'll see you guys next week for episode number 8 of the Town Crier Podcast. Peace.
Peace.
Not even close.
Yeah, not close at all.